Hey Big East Hoops fans, welcome to an all-new shoot-around. We start this episode by paying tribute to a legend, one of the all-time Big East greats. Rollie Massimino passed away yesterday in his West Palm Beach home in Florida. He was in hospice care. Rollie will always be known for leading the Villanova Wildcats to the 1985 championship victory over Georgetown. And Rollie, he is a basketball lifer. He was coaching all the way up until this past season at Kaiser University out in Florida. R.J. Alter pays tribute to an all-timer.
Rollie Massimino helped lay the foundation for Big East basketball. In a league filled with giant personalities, it may have been a man shy of 6 feet who towered above them all. It was that personality which drove Villanova basketball to make the impossible possible.
That's it. Villanova has done it. Rollie, nobody thought they could do it.
Oh, no one thought we could do it, but I did, and so did they.
Well, you're part of the Villanova family. That's why we're going to win. We're going to root for Villanova.
Here's the Jenkins for the championship.
It's really a pleasure to be the national champions of the nation. That's the most important part of my career. Having the opportunity to be around kids. I always say, I'm going to give you more than you'll ever give me because I love you and I enjoy you. Let's keep in touch.
What a great job by you, Jay, to pay tribute to an absolute legend, and Rollie's legacy will live on forever.
Absolutely, John, and there's just so tough to put his character into words, the personality, the videos spoke for themselves. Just a beautiful man who lived a full life in every sense of the word.
Well, we both actually had the unique opportunity to talk to Rollie in the last couple of years. After the 2016 National Championship game, in which Villanova took down North Carolina, one of the great all-time shots from Kris Jenkins, I was on the floor watching Villanova cut down the nets. There was a man to my left that was sobbing, and he was kind enough to take some time, and the connection that he spoke about with Villanova basketball and the overall love that he has for Jay Wright and those kids, that's second to none. This scene right now, you know what it takes to build a champion. What do you think it was that made this team a champion?
The hustle, the togetherness, and the love for each other. You know, people don't use that word love too often, but that's what these kids shared. That's why, one of the reasons why they won.
Few people bled Villanova blue like Rollie Massimino bled Villanova blue. Through and through, and even just a month ago, we were down at Villanova's Summer Jam at Radnor Valley Country Club, and who was there swinging a golf club at the age of 82? Rollie Massimino, and he was generous enough to give us some time, and the personality that we've spoken about on full display, Rollie being Rollie.
We're so happy to be joined with Coach Massimino. And Coach, what does a day like today mean to you to get a lot of the guys back and, you know, the Villanova basketball family together?
I think it's wonderful. It's a continuation, but Jay Wright has done a marvelous job in putting this whole system together and growing and becoming as good a team in the United States as there are. I wouldn't miss this. I've been here a lot of times, and last night we had a little group in. We only had 60 of our former players, so I could tell them things that they did when they were 20. Now they're 55, and I can really kill them. That's what I love to do.
And you never forget.
No, I don't forget. I forget a lot of things, but I don't forget those things.
He's a guy who made every single day count in his own way, and as a basketball coach and as a person, Jay, passion on display.
Infectious personality. You can't smile when you're talking to him, and truly made his mark on the Villanova basketball program and all of college basketball. The outpouring from everybody in the college basketball community has been breathtaking.
And what's really amazing is that with this happening yesterday, we were looking to get perspective from past coaches in the league. And the governor, Bill Raftery, now on FS1, as well as Seton Hall legend PJ Carlesimo, they shared their perspective on Rollie.
Well, as a college player, I went to his high school games. So I've known him, pretty much my adult life. And just from day one, his enthusiasm for what he's doing, his love of players, family atmosphere he espouses with his basketball team, and his love of life. Just the most enthusiastic human being you'd ever be involved in, and just continually growing and learning as a basketball coach. That's what amazed me the most. And in his last days, he was still concerned about the practice plan at his university, which tells you his love of the game and the kids he coached. So a dear friend and a man that I admired for many, many years.
How key was Coach Massimino to the Big East's early years?
Well, he came in the next year, so he was bigger than life. Right away, our first meeting, he jumping around tables and creating a lot of excitement and challenging guys, whether it was about basketball or the golf bet that occurred earlier.
Well, Rollie was he wasn't a good coach. He was a great coach, and the reason was he was so thorough. A lot of people don't realize because they got to know him when he was at Villanova and UNLV, maybe Cleveland State a little bit, but his roots go back to Jersey. He grew up in Jersey. He was a very successful high school coach. He was still coaching to this day at Kaiser. It changed the name. I think it was Northwood for years. The school was created. Rollie started the school. He had them in the NAIA championship game. So you're talking a true lifer, a great student of the game, somebody that worked at it, somebody that loved. I mean, we'd get out and work his basketball camp in the summer, or we coached against each other in Puerto Rico back in the 70s and early 80s when I was at Wagner College. And, you always spent the night back at his house, and he'd be making pasta, and you'd be sitting down and X and O'ing on napkins. And that was the kind of coach he was. He was always tinkering, always working things. Great defensive coach, great mind, but somebody that really worked at the game and wanted to share and was always good to, especially to a young coach when I was starting out. He was a great friend to Seton Hall, and he was a great man and a great coach. Thank you.
It just says so much to hear from those legends, and when they talk about Rollie, they speak of what he did off the court, and it was really cool to hear from other coaches about just how great of a teacher Rollie was, both as a man teaching his players how to be men, and then on top of that, great basketball players. That's what Rollie Massimino did day in and day out, a basketball lifer. And our thoughts and prayers are with his family, the Villanova basketball community at this time.
We'll have more of the Big East tournament from Madison Square Garden coming up right after these words.
5, Mike Mulquin. And number 54, Ed Pinkney. And head coach of the Wildcats, Roland Massimino. The officials.
Players have gone down the Philadelphia way, and we're underway. The winner here between Connecticut and Villanova will play St. John's. This is Earl Kelly, number 10. Connecticut stays on top by 3, but here's a good break by McLean, and he's got it. So Villanova moves up the court smartly. You have to do it for the next 30 minutes. We'd have something here. Pinkney inside answers.
Villanova is poised.
Kaczynski lost it. Here's Granger. Look at him get up the floor. 3-on-1. McLean. For more. If Connecticut hopes to get in this thing. Look at that move by Eddie Pinkney. No, sir. Pinkney followed and he got fouled. Although I think the first foul. You're right, inside. Kaczynski lost it. Giscombe at the buzzer, and that is it. And so a 1-point game. Villanova 69, Connecticut 68. It'll be Villanova and St. John's tomorrow night in the Final Four. What a semifinal that should be.
One of many wins for Coach Rollie Massimino, reaching that 800-win milestone in his life. And that was tremendous from the 1983 Big East Championship.
The guy was a winner. He did it at Villanova, but he did it so many other places throughout his life on and off the basketball court.
Yeah, fantastic man in so many ways as we continue here on Shoot Around, and we remember Coach Massimino. On top of that, as a Big East family, it has been a very tough week in that we've seen the victims in Texas as Hurricane Harvey made landfall and has impacted millions. Coach Kelvin Sampson of Houston tweeted out earlier this week that he was looking for help, looking for shoes and shirts. And Jay, as a Big East family, we have tried to respond.
All 10 schools in the Big East Conference answering Coach Sampson's call, and it's been an incredible outpouring, not only in the Big East, but across college basketball this week, with so many coaches and teams directly sending their apparel to Houston where they need it so desperately. And really, in the worst of times, people like Coach Sampson and coaches around college basketball can step up and make a positive impact on an absolutely terrible situation.
Yeah, it has really been a difficult time for those people in Houston. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone being impacted by Hurricane Harvey. And I think what speaks volumes is this happened earlier this week, the call to action by Coach Sampson. And I remember I was in the office on Monday evening and just thinking about our schools across the league and how quickly, within the hour, schools were on board. Across the country they have been, and here at the Big East, we want to send all our thoughts and prayers to the people down in Texas. This is where, as a nation, we're coming together, and it really shows how great people can be as we try to help out. Here is Coach Sampson's tweet. It is on Twitter. If you'd like to be able to help out, definitely head over to his Twitter, and there's details.
The Red Cross and also J.J. Watt, using the athletic community, he's raised more than $10 million. So much good happening in a bad situation thanks to leaders in the community, Coach Sampson and J.J. Watt.
So we move from that now to our interview this week, as we have a one-on-one every week on Shoot Around. And it was such a magical run in the NCAA tournament by the Xavier Musketeers. Yeah. They went to the Elite Eight, and now they are poised for a big-time 2017-18 season, as it's this senior that is back, and he's one of the most interesting players in the conference. A two-way star. The JP effect is on Shoot Around right now.
Macura, 5 seconds to go. He has to hurry. Here's JP. Crosstown traffic, takes a three. Go!
Wow. How about the presence of mind? They're going to check it out, but I look.
He brings the toughness each and every night for the Xavier Musketeers. JP Macura, the senior, is our guest as the Musketeers are coming off an Elite Eight run in the 2017 NCAA tournament, now looking for even bigger things ahead. JP, how was your summer?
It was great. It was filled with a lot of events, and I got to travel a little bit. I got to stay here on campus as well, and I got to go back home to Minnesota a good amount as well.
When you go home to Lakeville, Minnesota, what are you doing?
I'm working out. I try to work out every single day when I'm back home with my trainer. But other than that, I'm hanging out with some friends, swimming in my pool in my backyard, and spending time with my grandpa.
That's awesome. Any other places you went to? You said you did a lot of traveling.
I went to Hawaii in June with my trainer. He had a basketball camp, so I went out to Maui for a week, and we trained every day, and I helped a lot of the younger guys, younger kids, out there in Hawaii with the basketball camp.
Well, we do have a picture of you at the Adidas Nation's Counselor Games, and it was Jonathan Giovanni of Draft Express who tweeted out that you were looking built. Has that been the approach this offseason, that you've just been building that core?
I mean, I've been working really hard this offseason. I give a lot of credit to my strength coach, Matt Jennings. He's been pushing us in the weight room, but honestly, I think I just took the sleeves off. I've had my muscles like that for a while, but everybody's used to me having my sleeves on.
Is that just a fashion change? When did you decide on that?
You know, it got really hot. You know, long sleeves. I was overheating in the games and stuff. So I mean, I'd like to not wear that during this next season.
Last season, you guys had to fight through a ton of adversity, a tough slump in February. What happened for you and your team to figure it out and put together an incredible run in March?
You know, it was tough. I think we lost about 6 or 7 games in a row, and all of the players were getting really sick of losing. You know, it'd be tough practices, go on the road, lose 6 in a row. And basically we just said we're done with losing and we're going to come together as a team and we're going to practice harder, we're going to get extra shots up. We put together a great stretch of wins going into March. And I think we just stuck together. That was great for us.
You play with a lot of hustle, a lot of heart. You're at the top of that 1-3-1 zone. When I talk to people across the league, they say, man, that J.P. Macura, he's one tough player. Knowing that you've got that bullseye on your back from other teams, other coaches, how exactly do you handle that?
You know, I just try to approach every game the same. I try to lay it all out for my team every night we play and in practice as well. And a lot of guys on the team do the exact same. It's just important for me and the rest of the guys to stay focused and poised during the game, and I think that's how we handle ourselves throughout the season.
You went to the Elite Eight last year. What's now next for you in your senior campaign?
I mean, we need to get to a Final Four. We've been talking about it for 4 years now. As captains, me, Trayvon, and Sean, we really want to get to a Final Four. I think we have the talent to do it. I know that we have a lot of players that really work hard. If we stick together and we defend throughout the whole year, I think we have a great chance.
I think that's the only thing that the Final Four is missing next year. Everything's bigger in Texas, but it's not a Final Four without J.P. Macura to me.
We got to get there. We're going to work really hard to get there.
All right, let's go off the map here. Do you like chili?
No, I do not like chili.
What's your favorite food in Cincinnati? Favorite place to go to?
Ooh, I like Five Guys.
Five Guys, single or double patty? Go all out.
Double patty, bacon, mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, pickles.
Love it. You're on a plane, long flight to a game. What is on in the headphones? What's your playlist?
Honestly, I don't really listen to music that much, but my favorite song is Candy Paint by Post Malone. I put that on repeat.
Favorite basketball coach, real or fictional?
Favorite basketball coach?
Yeah.
Coach Mack.
What do you think of his Twitter?
I like it. I'm entertained. I think all of the other 30,000 people that follow him are entertained as well.
Give Matt Stainbrook an Uber rating.
I'd probably give him a 5-star.
All 5?
5-star Uber rating.
No comments, no critique at all. He's the perfect driver.
Yes, perfect.
Toughest players to go up against in the Big East?
Oof. I'm not going to answer that question. I don't really want to give anybody any credit.
I like that. That's Macura toughness if I've ever seen it. Well, JP, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And JP giving nobody any love. He's got all the choices in the Big East Conference to choose from, and yet I love the game face that Macura is showing on the interview.
Well, he's one of a kind. JP holding nothing back when he gets on the court, and he's a two-way guy. He's at the top of that 1-3-1 zone, challenges any point guard that he faces. Then on the other end, the kid can launch from just about anywhere, so looking forward to seeing him play again. I mean, he is really that toughness factor that the Big East has. He embodies it every time. Every single night he goes on the floor, that's what he does. And you know what, Jay? Speaking of J.P. Macura senior season, the conference schedule's coming out soon.
We're told soon.
Some point in September. which means why don't we look back, right?
Yes, top 5 games according to John and I from last year's regular season. And here's our list. I went a little heavy on Villanova because the Wildcats, they've won the conference 4 years in a row. And when you can beat Villanova, I think that says something. And then DePaul had them on the ropes the first game, December 28th in Big East play.
And for me, I go with Villanova and Creighton on New Year's Eve. The top 10 showdown was the college basketball game of the day. How about St. John's and Providence? This was a great game. There were a combined 28 ties, lead change. When you combine the two, this game went back and forth. Xavier and Seton Hall, a Trayvon Blewett buzzer beater. Seton Hall and Butler was an epic showdown at Hinkle Fieldhouse on Butler's senior day. The Pirates hadn't beaten Butler in the regular season. Really a great game. And then Marquette and Villanova. Golden Eagles down huge. And then Caden Reinhardt, Marcus Howard. They were having a party in Milwaukee all throughout the night. That was a great, great win by Marquette.
I've got the Golden Eagles coming from 17 down as number 2 on the list. And I said it earlier, but anytime you can beat Villanova, you're going to be high on the list because it's always something when the Wildcats go down. How about the first Big East game of the season? DePaul has Villanova on the ropes. Huge, huge three-pointer from Josh Hart, Big East Player of the Year. And then Billy Garrett Jr. and one coming down the floor. In Big East basketball on any given night, any team can give any team a game. And then Hinkle Fieldhouse. How about this one? Back and forth. Butler and Villanova. And really could have gone either way. Wildcats, just didn't have it in the tank that night.
Yeah, and Butler did a tremendous job. Now we go to this matchup, and this game was just incredible. Back and forth in Milwaukee, and Marquette coming out on top. It was huge, huge for their NCAA tournament resume. Now we go to Seton Hall, and Seton Hall illustrates what it means to be in this league night in, night out in terms of close games. The Pirates played a number of one-possession showdowns after Carrington's big make there, Trayvon Blewett. The floater!
What a shot.
That was clutch. The Pirates did get a look, though. Carrington just off, and while he was off that night, he was very much on at Hinkle Fieldhouse when the Hall was closing out the regular season, really needing that victory to solidify their big dance bid. And it was after this win to go into Hinkle and earn this kind of victory over a Butler team that ended up going to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
It shows so much how you can flip the script in this league that every night there's a quality win chance.
Well, you would think Butler at home is a safe victory for the Bulldogs, but not in the Big East Conference. You never know what is going to happen. Here is your number 1, John.
This is my number 1, and I'm interested to hear why you have your number 1 where you have it, because Marquette was down 17. You just don't come back on Villanova when you're down 17. That could seem like 30, 35 points compared to other teams.
And, John, that was undoubtedly a great game. It was number 2 on my list.
Okay.
Because number 1, Ed Cooley and the Friars charging into Omaha. And you want to talk about a back-and-forth affair, shooting on display. Marcus Foster says, yes, please. And then, I got your answer. Mr. Cartwright, Kyron Cartwright. That's not the last you will see of him. He's coming back for his senior year. Take another look at the game winner. Ice in his veins. He's showing you why. Oh, my. Let's take one more look at the list. I'll defend my number 1. Providence Creighton, for my money, best game of the Big East season.
And what are your best Big East games from last season? As I've got my number 1, Marquette taking down Villanova. Is there one we're missing? Let us know right now on Facebook and Periscope.
And we probably are missing one because in this conference, every single game is going to be hard-fought and a tough one. They might not all be close, but hey, seriously, you got DePaul showing up to Villanova and giving them a game. It epitomizes what the conference is all about.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that Villanova-Butler game, and that's not on my list. So there's one that I myself just missed because there's so many to choose from. I'm not just saying that. I remember that Villanova-Butler led into Justin Patton and Creighton taking on St. John's, and you watch those doubleheaders, and it makes for a great night. I mean, probably not good for my health. I'm camped out on my couch all night.
And we're looking forward to another season of Big East Hoops, and we're told the schedule coming very shortly.
Well, let's turn the corner now to our recruiting profiles, and this week is an interesting case because LaVall Jordan came into Butler, and it's a loaded Bulldogs class, so how was he going to approach it? Well, he was able to keep most of the class. Actually, Coach Holtman was able to recruit, and I think it says a lot about Coach Jordan that he was able to keep those kids, and now they're coming in to Hinkle Fieldhouse this year. This class is stacked.
The Butler Bulldogs bring in 5 freshmen to boost an already talent-filled roster under first-year head coach Laval Jordan. Check out Aaron Thompson, a 6'2" point guard named a 4-star recruit by both ESPN and Scout. Here's why. Thompson was the first player in his high school's entire history to score 800 points, tally 400 assists, 300 rebounds, 200 steals, and 100 wins. Another 4-star recruit and number 82 on ESPN's Top 100, Christian David, a 6'6" wingman, comes from Canada but played his high school days at Vermont Academy where he averaged 12 points and 6 rebounds. David brings size, toughness, and is ready to exemplify the Butler way. The next newest Bulldog will have Butler on the front and back of his jersey. Gerald Gillens Butler at 6'4", 235, comes from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where he won a state title in his senior year, averaging 14.5 points a game. Another 6'4" player joining the Bulldogs this fall is Cooper Neese. The 3-point specialist averaged, get this, 27.5 points per game his senior year. Neese reached number 7 on the Indiana high school all-time scoring list, right behind a name we all know, Xavier's Trayvon Blewett, who's number 6. And rounding out the Butler freshman class, Campbell Donovan, a 5'11" guard from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he's following in his father's footsteps. His dad played at Butler from 1986 to 1990. Add these 5 guys in with the likes of Kamar Baldwin and Keelan Martin, and the Bulldogs will be as dangerous as ever.
Well, very cool there to see the incoming Butler freshmen and the Bulldogs return Keelan Martin and Kamar Baldwin looking to play with more pace this upcoming year. That should be interesting to watch.
All right, so we just went through our top 5 games. You've given in some submissions. Let's roll through them. First one coming from Chris Lane. It was a top 10 matchup up in Omaha. He said Villanova's win against Creighton.
Yeah, we've got a number of them here. Kyle pitching in as well with... We've got a lot of Creighton Providence love. I like Nick Rojas as well with that one. He had Providence and Creighton. That was just such a great game in Omaha. And a lot of submissions here. Some common.
Well, John doesn't want to show all the Providence Creighton ones because that was my number 1. 2 people writing in. Nick Rojas, you mentioned. He was there in attendance. Providence Creighton, my number 1, getting a lot of love.
I just said the 2 of them.
Getting a lot of love.
Yes, got a lot of love. My friend, though, Kim Adams, friend of the program, went with Marquette and Villanova, and take a look at that there. I mean, you're down 17 points to the number 1 team in the country.
All right, we have a submission, a question coming in now. Of course, keep your questions coming here on Big E Shoot Around. I'll toss it to John Fanta. Foster Thomas for Creighton. Are they the best wings in the entire conference?
Oh, boy. That's difficult. I'm not going to say that they're the best because there's rich competition in the league. You have to look at Xavier, and J.P. McCura and Trayvon Blewett are right there as well, and they've got Quinn Gooden coming back. On top of him, they're welcoming in Paul Scruggs, so I like Blewett and McCura. I think that matchup between Foster Thomas as well as McCura Blewett is a great matchup that could be a decider, but man, this league's too tough for me to say there's a clear favorite for a wing duo because there's another one at Xavier that comes immediately to mind. And on top of that, sometimes when Kadeem Carrington plays off the ball, you got Carrington and Desi Rodriguez. That's kind of a unique wing combo there. So there's a couple of them that really come to mind, in my opinion.
And it's funny we mentioned the Blue Jays because somebody just wrote in Xavier at Creighton for their game of the year. Didn't make either one of our lists, but a terrific game. Musketeers win, rallying after Edmund Sumner goes down. That was a terrific, gutsy effort from the Musketeers, a little foreshadowing of the toughness that would get that team to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, really fun. We have had quite a great show as we pay tribute to Coach Massimino, and on top of that, talking about Hurricane Harvey. We thank J.P. McCura for joining us as well, Coach Carlissimo and Raftery, as now we move to our Beyond the Game segment. And it was earlier this week that we as a Big East Conference paid tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It was the 54th anniversary of his I Have a Dream speech, and players across the Big East, they give a special recital of that speech. We roll out with that as we thank you for joining us on Shoot Around.
Now is the time.
Now is the time.
Now's the time.
To make real promises of democracy.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Now's the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice.
Now is the time.
Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice
to the solid rock of brotherhood.
Now is the time.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. Let us not wallow
in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends.
And so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow,
I still have a dream.
It is a dream
deeply rooted in the American dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up
and live out the true meaning of its creed.
We hold these truths
to be self-evident that
all men are created equal.
I have a dream today.
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 I have a dream today. I have a dream today.